Okay, there we go. Okay, thanks for spending your evening with us. We'll officially get started. My name's Jody Tom. I am a co-president along with Kelly Voyages. Kelly, yeah, wave, there she is. She and I are co-presidents this year of the Family Association, and this is our official first meeting. It's scheduled to be a little bit longer than we normally will have, but we have a lot of good information to share, and we're going to try very hard to keep on point with our agenda. Dr. Cheryl and Allison Jacobs will be here. They're just going to be here a little bit later. So I know Dr. Cheryl already connected, but they'll be joining us a little bit later. But before we get to the agenda, I want to just spend a few minutes to talk about how we're going to use Zoom in these meetings. We're going to be recording them first so that anyone who can attend will be able to go back and watch the meetings, and if they need to, if they haven't been here or if they want to refer back for particular information, they can do that. And then when we start our meetings, we're going to ask everybody to mute just to allow for no distractions. But also within the capabilities of Zoom, we're going to try to be as interactive as we possibly can. Zoom is great. It's convenient because we can be here and still do our evening schedule, but we realize there's some interactive things that are limited. So we want you to know that as we go through the meeting, we plan to use the chat box. So I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with Zoom. I'm in no ways an expert, but I'd like everybody to take a look at your device and find the chat box now, just so you can see where it is. I'm going to post something in the chat box now, just to make sure everybody's got it. So we plan to use this space to post links or emails or important information. We want to take questions there. We'll take any positive comments you have. I want to encourage you to use that chat box throughout the evening. So if you hear something you like, give it a thumbs up, give it a +1. If you have a question, please place it there. The rest of the executive committee is going to be watching that chat closely, and we'll be answering your questions in the chat today. Normally we're going to try to bring those questions to the whole group, but today is a big agenda, and I really want you guys to hear the really cool presentation that we have scheduled for the end of the meeting about Friday explorations. So I want to make sure we have enough time for that. So I did ask the executive committee to try to answer the questions via chat just for today, but we do want to use that. So please make sure I already see everybody's using the chat, and if you can, I would love it if you would put your name and the grade of your child in the chat so we can see everybody's name. I was hoping, and I'm glad to see everybody's pretty much got their names on their profiles, but I'm hoping we can use this avenues for you to be able to start putting faces with names, see each other on campus, recognize each other a little bit. If you're not familiar, there's a little view button in the upper right-hand corner. That's where it is on my computer, and it says view. And if you choose gallery view, you can see all the little tiles and all the faces, and we can pretend we're in person and shaking each other's hands and meeting each other. So that is one way for you to see everybody's name. But I already see names popping up in the chat. I love it. So you can maybe recognize some parents that are in your child's grade. Yeah, so there we go. That's how we're going to be using Zoom. So let's get to the agenda. The first part of the agenda is Family Association business. And in the chat, I put a link to the agenda. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay, so on our first association meeting, I always like to just start with giving a background of what is the Family Association, especially if we have new family members here. Many parents might equate us to a PTA or an FFO of other schools. We are actually an auxiliary, is that the word? Auxiliary organization of the school. We're actually under the direction of the board. And so by enrolling your child at the Gregory School, you're automatically a member of the Family Association. And there are no additional dues. You're just part of the organization. And in fact, the Family Association is allocated a budget every year from the operating budget. It's run entirely by volunteers. Our executive committee consists of the presidents this year, the vice president, volunteer coordinator, our secretary, and our treasurer. And I am going to put in the chat for everybody to see. This is our mission that's in our operating protocols. If you're interested in that kind of thing, there's a link to our actual operating protocols. And I did put a link to our budget so that you can see what that entails. Margaret is our treasurer this year, and there's not much to report on. We decided this meeting, but she'll be reporting out in future meetings. But it's really important to note in that mission that really what the Family Association is supposed to focus on is developing positive spirit within our school community, engage all of you, engage our members, and really to support the school. So that's what we are mandated to do, and it's fun. And I would love to have the executive committee right now take turns and just come off mute, introduce yourself, tell us your name, your grade of your child, tell everybody else your position, and just a tiny bit about what that entails. Kelly, would you like to go first? And
okay, I'm Kelly Voyages, and I have a 9th grader, and I am co-president with Jody, and she's already given you an idea of what we do, but I'm also the volunteer coordinator. So I bug you guys a lot looking for help and looking for people to fill different roles. Did I cover everything, Jody?
that's a big one.
Okay.
Thanks, Kelly. Who's next?
I'll go next. I'm Kelly Rothrock, and I'm the vice president, and I just assist these girls in all that they do, or try to assist you.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly. Yes, absolutely. Jill?
I'll go next. I'm Jill Jordan Spitz. I'm secretary. I'm taking notes here, so I'm busy typing away.
Yes.
And I guess it's me. I'm Margaret Cohen, and I am treasurer this year. So I'm handling, I might interact with you if you need to be reimbursed for some FA expenses. I'm the person that you can direct any questions about that, or I can help you with that. So hopefully I will meet some of you that way when you're all involved in FA activities.
Awesome. Thank you. We have a great team. And I saw Cece's here from last year, and Josie. They were part of the FA last year. Cece was our president. Josie was our treasurer. So glad to see you guys. That's our executive committee. So following up with that, I wanted to share with you guys the survey results. If you came to registration at the beginning of this year, you no doubtedly ran into our Family Association table. And we had a big poster up of questions we wanted to ask you guys. And so I thought I'd let you know what we found out from everybody. The first question was, when can you come to these meetings? And overwhelmingly, it was weekday evenings, which is why we continued this format. We are going to have one meeting this year that's in person, and that'll be second semester. But the second question was really to you about what would you value most from your family association? So we had several options up there for you. And here are the results. I'll put them in the chat also. But first place came up as fun family events. Second place was general school updates. And third place was meeting other TGS families. We truly appreciate your participation in the survey. I see people wanting to come in. And we hear you, and we are working with TGS staff and faculty to make these 3 things a priority, whether it's at these meetings or in events that happen in and out of school. And so we really appreciate that. It really helps give us some guidance for how to work with TGS staff and what we're going to focus on this year. So I'd like to tell you in that vein, our extended family association team. I like to think of the family association as kind of a middleman. We are bridging any gaps between the school efforts and this family community. It's a task that requires many hands. Our executive committee does not handle it alone by no means. So I wanted to share with you our extended team. We have class representatives, which you may have already received emails from your class representative. These are the parents. I'm letting people in, excuse me. These, I put a link in the chat in case you haven't seen their picture, but these are our wonderful parents who have stepped up to be the eyes and ears for your grade. We look to these class reps to communicate important information and to help build that community within your grade. And so I would encourage you to reach out to them if you need anything specific to your grades, or if you have any questions, they're always in contact with us. In addition, we have chairpersons. So we have committees, and these are people who sign up to actually coordinate or organize certain activities that we have throughout the year, like homecoming, teacher appreciation, our upper school winter formal, things like that. So the chairperson link is there. You can see the names. I don't have pictures, but there are names of all the wonderful parents who sign up to help us organize those events. So we've got class reps, we've got committee chairpersons, and then there are the many volunteers that sign up to help throughout the year. We had 144 people sign up at registration, I think, right, Kelly? That's the last time I remember looking. You signed up for, even if it was just one thing, or you said, call me for anything. It was a lot of people who signed up, and every bit helps, and it creates this inclusive community that we have, and I just love it. I want to do a big thank you to Kelly Voyages, who, like she said, is our volunteer coordinator. She's the one who organizes all these volunteers and gets, recruits people. It's no small feat. And so thank you, Kelly, for doing that. And she makes sure that when you guys help out, you're a success. She figures it all out. So a prime example I wanted to give you this year is the back to school get-togethers. I'm super proud of these back to school get-togethers that happened. Our class reps, some who could manage to get some get-togethers at the beginning of the year, did so, and it was just wonderful. I came in at the Family Association during COVID, and we weren't able to do all of those things, and there were just several grades who were able to pull it off. I'm not going to give it away because I've asked the class reps later in the agenda to give you a little hint as to what they did, and it's just super fun. If they're not here, we'll tell you what they did, but hopefully you'll get to hear about what they did. We're just tickled pink that they were able to put something together this year. So thank you to those class reps for doing that. I'm just going to check real quick and make sure nobody else wants to get in. Okay. Okay, moving right along. So I want to talk about what's happening. These are our FA updates next on the agenda. And at school, I wanted to mention, if you haven't seen it already, the Family Association provides you with some good to know parent-to-parent information in our weekly in the weekly TGS newsletter that comes out over email. We hope to highlight our volunteers as well as provide any information to you on upcoming Family Association events. We also hope that newsletter is going to be the one place that you can go to find out how to contribute, how to volunteer, how to, when it's time for teacher appreciation, where to go for that. So we know there are lots of efforts out there in the school. Sometimes teachers will say they're looking for parent volunteers. We're hoping that we can provide that one location for all parents to go to at any time if you want to know how you can contribute to the school. So if you hear something out there, shoot us an email, let us know. We try to be on top of what's happening, but sometimes we hear about things and we can add it to that newsletter. You can also get the information at our website. We have a Family Association website. And I would encourage you guys to go there if you're ever looking for meeting minutes or the recording or looking for volunteer opportunities or looking for what's coming up. We try to keep that updated. I want to say a big thank you to our secretary, Jill. She's the one who makes that newsletter happen every week. And so thank you so much for that. Okay, so far, let's talk about the Gregory Gathering coming up. So far, there's been many ways to get to know other families at TGS. So I know TGS has hosted so many things at the beginning of the year. There was a new family mixer, there was curriculum night, there was the recent middle school and upper school coffees. So I really thank the school and the faculty and the administration. They did a lot for our families as a way to say hello and for you to be able to meet other people. But this upcoming Gregory Gathering should have been emailed to everybody. It came as kind of one of those evites. And it is going to come up on October 5th at 5 p.m. And it's just for parents. It's not for kids. And it's a chance for the parents to get together and get to know each other. It's going to be in the theater courtyard and there's food and drinks. So if you weren't able to make the other things, I highly recommend you go. It's going to be good fun. So that's coming up. And the next thing that's our biggest TGS wide fun family event, I mean, this is the big one, is homecoming. Homecoming is coming up Friday, October 13th. It's our biggest event of the year for families. And it's a great time to meet other families, to show our school spirit and have lots of fun. We like to cheer on our athletes at the games. There's fun activities at the booths that are organized by student clubs and student council. And then there's other carnival type events that our wonderful Kelly Rothrock has organized. I'm going to have her give you an update. But I want to let you know that a lot of these the booths and events are manned by our parent volunteers. Homecoming happens because we have our parent volunteers. We couldn't do it without the parents. So I'm going to turn it over to Kelly. I want to thank you, Kelly, for being our homecoming committee chair. This is your second year doing it, right, in a row? Or did you do it? Third, that's right, third year. You're on mute, honey. You have to unmute so we can hear you. Kelly, honey, you got to unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm off mute.
That's okay, but I want you to tell us what families can expect and what help you need. Will you?
Oh my gosh, look on the link. We still need tons of volunteers for help decorating the school the Sunday of October 8th for Spirit Week. We need a few more tents. If anybody has pop-up tents. Cece, I know you signed up. Thank you. What else? Kelly, what else do we need help with? I didn't look today at the sign-in sheet. Did you? Kelly V.
Yes, I was just gonna try and pull the links in,
Oh,
but somebody did it already. Yay, thank you.
yay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah,
we need
so
help with we need manpower for the booths. I mean, not the booth, sorry, the, inflatables.
Oh,
with
yeah,
The
okay.
food, I think the ticket sales are filling up more, so we need more people on kind of the outskirts. We really need help with decorating.
With decorating, the cleanup,
Yes.
which is not the fun part, but it's a big help to all of us, so, yeah.
Well,
And
and
then
to be
table-
honest,
Yeah,
I was
what?
just gonna say, if we don't get enough help with decorating, there will be less of it.
Yes. Yes and
Yeah.
yes.
It may just be sparse in decoration, so we need help with decorating.
Yes.
Kelly, tell them what the inflatables are this
So
year.
there's
That's
gonna be,
fun.
okay, there's gonna be a zip line, a Velcro wall, and a 90-foot obstacle course. That's for the inflatables. And then we have a lot of kids doing booths again this year, and I just think it's fun. The kids, we're gonna have pizza again, crepes, cotton candy. There's at least 13 already signed up for club booths. So, and it gets the kids involved, which is the whole point.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
And food is simpler. It's going to be hamburgers, grilled cheese, hot dogs, and a portobello mushroom burger.
nice.
And 2 food trucks. We're having dessert food
Oh.
trucks. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We're having Bella gelato, and we're having Kona ice for desserts, for desserts, food trucks.
Wow. So we have 2. That's great.
Yeah, I think we're having 2.
And if I could just jump in on the grilled cheese.
Yeah.
So in order for Sage, who's doing our food, to do grilled cheese, they need to have electric griddles. And they don't have electric griddles. So we're borrowing electric griddles, and we've rounded up 3, but we need 1 more. So if anybody on the call tonight has an electric griddle that they could loan us for homecoming night, then we will give it right back after it has grilled cheese.
After it's grilled many cheeses.
Yes.
Thank you. That's awesome. Okay, griddles. Kelly, can you put our email in the chat? If anybody has a griddle that we could borrow, please email us. That would be awesome. And please look at the links. Homecoming's only as successful as our parent volunteers. We would love it if people could help out. And the games, I kind of put the schedule. We're waiting to see the official schedule of the games, but homecoming starts at 4. And then we may have a game start at either 4:30 or 5. And then that's volleyball. And then we have soccer at 6. So we're hoping you can stay for the whole thing, go to all the games, hang out with parents, eat good food, and then help us clean up when it's over.
And we've got a question about the hawk suit here, and whether a student can sign up to dress up in the hawk suit.
Oh,
I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that. I think they can, but we'd have to check with Alicia probably.
Okay, so we can check on that.
Okay, I'll check on that.
that's a great question. Okay, they probably last longer in this.
Right?
Although I remember Cece saying she did
Cece.
it 1 year and she said it was super fun. So, right, Cece? Yes, there's a big thumbs up. Okay, so see, okay. Great, thank you for that update on homecoming. I hope you all can make it. It's gonna be great fun. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is about lunch volunteers. Oh, I really want to tell you guys about this. Every minute of the school day is purposefully and intentionally scheduled at TGS. I love being part of the family association because I get to hear about all the inner workings, and it's amazing how well they plan everything out. Anyway, the lunch hour is really valuable prep time for our teachers, and they actually scheduled their staff meetings on Tuesdays during the lunch hour. But not all the teachers can go to the staff meeting because they have to supervise lunch. And so we would love, as a way to love on them and appreciate them and tell them how much we know how important it is for them to have meetings, is to get some volunteers to help monitor the lunch hour. It's something new. It's never been done before. So we're kind of putting it out there to see who might be interested. It's from a shift of like 11:25 to 12:25. And we really would love to start with Tuesdays, just a trial run, because that's when the staff meetings are. If we have a bunch of volunteers, the teachers would love it because they'll use that time to prep. They'll use that time to take a lunch break, which they probably don't get because they're hard, you know, how dedicated they are. So we're going to try it for Tuesdays. So we've got just a few volunteers. We'd love to get a few more. If you do it, you are welcome to join in on a Sage Yummy lunch before that shift occurs. And what's involved is parents on the middle school campus and some parents on the upper school campus. Middle school, the teachers put together some coordinated activities. So there might be arts and crafts or something that they'll set up. So sometimes it's just helping facilitate those. It might be supervising play on the field. And the upper school, it's mostly walking around, monitoring, asking kids to clean up their lunch, you know, making sure they stay on campus. Parents wouldn't be required to do any disciplining or anything like that. If they needed staff's always available to help. It's just mostly monitoring, being that adult supervision, and, you know, allowing the teachers a peace of mind that there's some adults out there watching what's happening. So if you're interested, please do email us at our email address. Kelly already put that in the chat. So please do email us. Those who would like to do it would need to be background checked and would attend just a short orientation with our staff, with the staff at TGS, but we would love to get that going. Okay, so now we're going to get to our class rep updates. I've asked each class rep to kind of give us a quick 3-minute update. I wanted them to tell you what's been happening, and hopefully if they did a beginning of the year get together, they'll tell you about that, what's coming up, and how can parents get involved or find out more. Again, a reason I love being part of the Family Association is I get to see what the whole school is about. So I hope you get to hear from these class reps and get a sense for what our school is about, what each grade does, and yeah, just a sense of pride. So I'm going to start with 5th grade. That our class rep is Tanis Thuin. And if I say your last name wrong, I apologize. Please correct me. But she could not be here today, right? You didn't show up, did you, Tanis? No. Okay. She couldn't be here, so she let me know some things. So I will share with you what she said. She is one of the class reps that was able to have a beginning back to school get together, and they did bagels with buddies. They called it bagels with buddies, and they did it at the school. And she said it was a great turnout with the kids and the parents. She said that Mrs. Hernandez and Mrs. Ritchie reported that the 5th graders during interim week, they explored the Oregon Trail, and they ended the interim week with a field trip to Trail Dust Town, had dinner at Pinnacle Peak, and they walked around Trail Dust Town and they did some riding on the train and stuff like that. So, and then she said what's coming up is that the 5th graders are going to be carving pumpkins with the seniors, with their senior buddies during an exploration in October, which I think is awesome because my kid's a senior and I didn't know that was going to happen. So that's pretty amazing. So that's 5th grade. Let's see, is Amber here from 6th grade? There's a lot of people here. I love it. So I don't know if I can see. Let me see. Anybody see Amber? I don't. Well, I know Amber did. Is Amber Kelly? She's the one who did. I'm looking through. My notes. They did a sixth grade back to school get together. It was at the school, I remember. And Sally Strebel was a great big help to her. So I'll just say that. I can't remember what they did, but I know they put a lot of effort in there on the sixth
Yeah,
grade.
I'm not sure exactly what the event was. I just remember it was in the dining hall at the same time that the ninth grade event was going on. So I didn't see exactly what was going on
It was
because I
a
was,
potluck.
ah,
It was a
okay.
potluck. Okay, nice. All right, well, that's sixth grade. If anybody's here from the sixth grade, you could put in the chat what's happening in sixth grade. Okay, let's go to seventh grade. Rebecca, are you here today, Rebecca? Well, I don't see Rebecca's name either. Sad carrots. All right. Rusty, are you next? No. No, eighth grade is Allison. Okay, eighth grade's Allison. Oh, Allison couldn't be here either, but I'll let you know what they did for eighth grade was they had a private movie showing at the Roadhouse. And so they did the movie, they watched the movie Blue Beetle. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that one. Blue Beetle. And they said they had a great turnout. Over half of the class attended. They had food, beverages. She sends a special thanks to Mrs. Peterson Snyder, teacher at TGS, and her husband, who accommodated them at the Roadhouse for the event. She said the staff and the facilities were amazing, and they would recommend it for other grades who are looking to have some fun. She said the eighth grade went to Mount Lemon, had an overnight at Mount Lemon for interim week, and that they did community service projects. That's awesome. So she mentioned the same things we already did about the Gregory parent gathering that's coming up in homecoming. She went to the admissions night tonight, which we did find out from Dr. Cheryl that many current parents went to the admissions night tonight on campus. And that night was meant for, well, it's anybody. I know Dr. Cheryl, oh, hi, Dr. Cheryl, was saying that current parents could go, but I just wanted to let everybody know if you're here from the eighth grade, it's no big deal. TGS has an event for eighth graders, specifically current parents, upper school night for you later in the year. So if you weren't able to go to the admissions night tonight, but Allison Solomon went to that. So she mentioned that that was happening tonight. And then I'll put this in the chat because she said, if anyone would like to organize a social event for the eighth graders in November or the end of the year to let her know that she's looking to put together a social event. So that's in the chat if there are any eighth graders here. Okay, Rusty, I know you're here. Tell us what's happening in the ninth grade.
Sure. Well, so we had a welcome back party, like Kelly mentioned, and it was a cookie decorating party. It was sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar, and we had I don't know 15 to 20 people, I think, Kelly, right, came, and it was really fun. But the thing I mostly learned was never ever schedule opposite a soccer game. Because any of our soccer parents, they weren't able to make it across to, you got to hang out and watch the soccer all the time. And so I will never do that again. So that was a learning experience. The ninth graders went to Flagstaff and Sedona, primarily in Flagstaff. It was overnights up there. They had team building exercises. They did a zip line and like the tree walks up in the trees.
Oh yeah.
It sounded fantastic. My son is Ruby, and he came back saying how, some of the kids would struggle a little bit with the heights and that the other kids were cheering them on. And so it really sounded like real team building to me. And then he was so philosophical kind of about it. He was saying that, I'll never be in that place again with those friends again. Like that's the only time I'll ever do that. And that's what makes interim so special. So, super duper successful. We have right before Thanksgiving, we have the I'm part of helping the farmers market. We'll talk more about that, but that's coming up pretty soon, and that's one of my all-time favorite events. And I want to share too, one other thing is I have been acting as a substitute for teachers for the last couple weeks, and my love of Gregory School from the inside now, not just looking from the outside as a parent, but from the inside, has only grown, and my esteem for the teachers is through the roof. They are amazing. What they do, know that you're sending your kids. I mean, it's amazing what everybody does and how they pull together. I know I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, but it's real and I see it now. And the lunches are good too, just like everybody has said. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Rusty. That's great. I love hearing about it. And that's awesome. Thanks for all that information. Good note on the soccer games. That's good to know. Yeah, we live and we learn. Okay, Megan, I know you're here. We talked earlier.
I am here, thanks. So I'm the 10th grade rep. My daughter Luna Wood is in 10th grade. So we've not had yet a class get together. We are planning on doing one coming back, getting together from winter break. So we can kind of get back together in January before school starts. Some feedback I wanted to share that we got from a lot of the 10th graders after curriculum night is how excited they are to have a consistent advisor for the rest of their time at Gregory School. So just that phenomenal feedback on that decision. They really like that idea, and it's helping them bond in their advisories this year. The 10th graders just got back from interim week in New Mexico. They went to Santa Fe, White Sands, Bandelier. Fantastic experience. Just I'll echo everything Rusty said. The kids just had a great time and really bonded. Shout out to Senora Noriega and her amazing chaperone crew, Senora Rueda, Mr. Mon, Mr. Russo, and Senora Boudreau. They really worked so hard to make it a memorable, fantastic experience for the students, and the parents and the students couldn't be more grateful in the 10th grade. So we're looking forward to, again, a ton of feedback that the farmers market is one of the grade's favorite things to work on. So looking forward to the farmers market, homecoming, athletics, and of course, I'd be remiss if I said we weren't looking forward to fall break.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we're already fall break. Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Yes, farmers market. I took it off the agenda just because I know we have time and we're focusing on homecoming, but that is an amazing event. I can't wait for us to get started on that. And thank you guys for continuing to work on that. Okay, Steve, for 11th grade. Steve here today? I thought I saw his name.
I think he had to go.
Oh, okay.
He left.
We'll see. Oh, there. Steve had to leave. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, not going crazy. I saw his name. 12th grade. Stephanie, are you here, Stephanie? No, Stephanie's not here today. Okay. Well, thank you for those class reps. I'm going to turn it over to Greg, who's our chairperson for athletics.
Hello, good evening.
Minutes.
Okay, let's get started. When Coach E asked me to fill this role at the end of last year, we had some goals that we set out. One of them was to increase participation in athletics, AIA athletic events. After school, this is not during school or gym class, this is AIA events. Last year, we had 87 in the upper school. We were graduating 10 seniors, and we were very unclear on what we were going to get out of the 8th grade. We knew that some were going to other schools, some were not being invited back, so we were unclear. But our goal is to have 100 plus athletes this year. In the fall, last year's fall, we had 62 athletes. This year we have 73 already. So we're pretty confident we're going to hit the 100 mark. Some other things that Coach E wanted me to mention is a decorating help at homecoming. We need some volunteers there. She would also like, if you're interested in the car show, to purchase tickets from any of the volleyball members or the soccer athletes. It's their largest fundraiser of the year. So if you could do that. My last thing is the best way to get involved with sports or athletes is to come to a game. Just show up. My son, Ben, is in 10th grade, is not playing a fall sport, but my wife and I and Ben have been to several soccer games and volleyball games, and we get puzzling looks from some of the kids. Ben's not playing soccer. Why are you at a volleyball game? And we say, we're just here to watch and support you guys and representing TGS. And a lot of the kids, they notice that they do appreciate it. Some of them have said, wow, we've never had this many fans at a game in a long time. Look at all the people in the stands. So they do appreciate it. Indoor sports is a little bit easier because it's contained, it's climate controlled, and the students are right there. They're not like in cross country running off for 20 minutes and then coming back. So you can cheer them on. We also have started a GroupMe. It's a app, it's a chat function, and that is being managed by Karen Hendershot. It is for parents only, adults only. So if you would like to be updated on what's happening during a game, we post updates on the games and any travel arrangements. You can contact Karen. She'd be happy to add you to the list, or you can contact Coach E. And lastly, one of the things that we're doing this year that we want to do is for schools that are outside of Tucson that travel to us for an away game for them, a home game for us. After the game, some of our games run pretty late, and we're going to try to provide meals for them. So they have, you know, maybe it's a big meal, maybe it's a snack, but something for the kids to eat on their trip home. And that is my update. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg. That's going to make them love coming to our campus, I think, for sure. Okay. And then Emmy Seidow is our chairperson for performing arts, but she wasn't able to be here today, but I know Dr. Blute was going to be here. There, wait, I saw her. There you are. You're on my screen. Hi, thank you for coming and thank you for reporting for performing arts.
Sure. Thank you for having me. So we have some events coming up. First of all, October 13th for homecoming, the pep band's going to be playing for the volleyball game. So we'll be playing during timeouts, in between games. And Dr. Freslon is going to have the choir sing the national anthem for both the soccer game and the volleyball game. So we are happy to support athletics and kind of piggybacking off the athletics anytime. We need music for any kind of events. I know last year we pulled together some kids to send off our state swimmers, and we're happy to do that for any state teams that might need some hype from the music end. I'm happy to do that with our pep band. November 8th is the choir and piano concert, and Dr. Freslon would love to have a lot of families come to support the choir and the piano. That's a smaller number of students, so oftentimes if just the parents go, there's not a whole lot of people in the audience. So if anybody's looking for something to do November 8th, he would love to see some families in the audience for that. The musical is November 17th and 18th. And I know that Ms. Bodden and Ms. Heald would love some volunteers that could collect and sell refreshments. There's going to be an intermission. And they thought this could actually be a fundraiser for the Family Association if there were people that would be willing to do that during in between the different acts. They also could use some help with supervision off stage of students that aren't on stage at the time, just to make sure that everybody's where they need to be. They're looking for some meal donations for the cast and crew during the rehearsal and the show nights. And they also were looking for some volunteers who could set up meals and serve and clean up during those times as well. And I know that they also said, I think they're all set for help as far as sewing costumes and things for the musical. But if there's anybody that either has some sewing technique skills or very basic, can just kind of work with a needle and thread or a sewing machine for the spring musical, that would be great. We'll also have the advanced band and orchestra, the choir. Miss Reynolds will have her dancers perform and possibly some musical numbers for the family day, which will be the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And then we have our big band and orchestra concert the night of November 28th. We're trying something different. We're having both concerts on the same night. So the band's going to perform at 6 and the orchestra at 7. So if there's any orchestra parents out there that would be willing to kind of hang with the orchestra kids while the band's performing, I'd love some extra help with supervision on that too. So that's kind of our fall events. So I think that's probably enough to take in for now.
Thanks, Dr. Blue. And I did put Emmy's email in the chat. If anyone's interested in helping with performing arts, please let her know. But tell us what the musical is this year.
The musical is Mamma Mia.
Yay.
And this year, instead of it being an all-school musical, it's 8th through 12th grade. So I know they're really excited, and I know I can't wait to see it. So
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Amanda, you're still here. Do you want to report out?
I am.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
just to give everybody a background, last year we accepted ideas through our Parent Passion Project avenue for parents to submit any ideas they have, because last year it was very apparent parents have wonderful ideas for the school, for the students, and for the school. And it was a way for parents to submit an idea to the school to see if it's something that can be coordinated within all that happens throughout the year. And Amanda submitted an application last year to get Odyssey of the Mind embedded into TGS, and her proposal was approved and it's in full force. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Amanda.
Okay, well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much to the Family Association for offering this opportunity for the Parent Passion Projects and for supporting OM and bringing that to the Gregory School. I'm super excited about it, and thank you guys so much. And it, in an incredible moment of synchronicity, the Gregory School had just hired an upper school science teacher, Tiffany Bialis, who also had brought a proposal for Odyssey of the Mind to the Gregory School, and she is fantastic. So she's kind of taking the lead on the program, and she's my absolute dream person to handle this. I'm so excited that she is going to be doing this. She is volunteering her time in her room. She's got just an amazing room in the upper school. She has all of the things you could, I could just stay in her science room all day. I love it. And she has 18 years of coaching experience. I think she said she went to World possibly every year. If that's correct, she's just absolutely fantastic. She's even more experienced than me, and I hope to just like tag along and learn a lot from her in this experience. So she has really coordinated the whole program and how it's going to work at the Gregory School, which is also amazing because that's another thing that was the part that I didn't know when I was proposing this in my passion project. I didn't know how it would work, how we could possibly support this many teams. I didn't think I could do it by myself. So I'm absolutely thrilled that Tiffany is going to be doing that. So I'm going to put her email in the chat because if you have questions about the OM program, you can send them to her. So here's that. But we had just sort of a couple of interest signups on a couple of Fridays earlier in the school year. And then just based on the schedules for the school, we couldn't have anything for the last few weeks. So the next Odyssey of the Mind gathering or meeting is going to be Friday the 6th or 5th, I'm sorry. And Tiffany says, we had great interest in the program. We'll be running the teams Friday morning during club time and offering open hours on E3 and E4 for them to get their props and costumes done. We are planning some Saturday work days for the kids as well. We have a large amount of kids interested, and we are just going to finalize the teams once we have the competition dates, because the competition dates haven't been set by the Arizona Odyssey of the Mind team yet. We will send a letter out to all parents to get details to them once we have the dates secured, she says. So the idea I think that she's going with is she's gathering all of the interested kids who can really make the commitment, because it is a commitment to be on a team, to go to the performances and the competitions. And because Tiffany has such an amazing track record of going to the state competitions and even the world competitions, it's a high likelihood that if your child participates this year, they have a pretty good chance of going at least to state and possibly to the world competition, which I believe is held in May in Iowa this year. And so we will cross that bridge when we get there. I have a question here. What grades are eligible for Odyssey of the Mind? All of them. So Tiffany said that she can support one 5th grade team if there are enough 5th graders that are interested. The way that Odyssey of the Mind is structured, it's Division 1, which is 3rd grade through 5th grade, Division 2, which is 6th grade through 8th grade, and Division 3, which is high school. And you can bump kids up. So a 5th grader could be on a middle school team, or a middle schooler could be on a high school team, but you can't go down. That your division is determined by the oldest child who's on that team. And there are 5 different problems so we can have one team for each problem per division. And I'm not sure that she wants to have, I think she said middle school, we could have one team for each problem, but one 5th grade, and I'm not sure how many high school teams. That is something I believe that is still to be determined. And we had great success with the initial things that we did, the initial Fridays. I'm trying to put, oh, nope. I was trying to put some pictures in the chat, but nope, I can't, because it says the admin has restricted me, so I can't do that, sorry. But the kids did, spontaneous activities where they broke up into little groups, and Tiffany gave them a bunch of toothpicks and gumdrops and said, create something that is going to go to space, or create something that is solving a problem to fight pollution. And then they had to build something and then come up with a story. And then Tiffany would walk around and say, okay, tell me your story. And then she would take it and break it in half and say, here you go, fix it.
Oh my God.
And that was amazing to see, because a lot of the kids who had no experience with OM were going, what is happening? But I think her point there was, there's always going to be a problem that you have to fix in OM. And it's a creative problem solving competition. If you're not familiar with it, the kids, it's completely driven by the kids. Adults are not allowed to do things for the kids. We can't even tear duct tape. The kids have to do absolutely everything. And they take great pride in doing that. And they have to solve a problem. There's a performance. They might have to build a vehicle or a device that does something. They have to build all their own props and make all of their own costumes. It really is life-changingly fantastic for kids. And that's one of the reasons why I was hoping to bring it to Gregory, and having Tiffany spearheading the program here is just beyond my wildest dreams. I'm super excited. And if anybody has any questions, please also, I will put my email in the chat right now, and you can email me as well. But again, Tiffany probably is the person who would be the first person to ask about schedules or how the teams are going to work or when the competitions are. But I'm happy to support as well. And again, thank you to the Family Association for supporting this program. We're really excited about it.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. I love that. I love the description of the first exercise. That was great. And we're excited to hear more once you guys get closer to competition. That's going to be exciting. Okay, I'm so excited for the next part of the agenda. It's Dr. Cheryl and Allison. Thank you guys for coming. I know it's a busy night there at the Gregory School. So I'm going to hand it over to you so we can hear from you guys. Dr. Cheryl?
Hey, happy to be here. Thank you to everyone for joining in the meeting this evening. As you can tell from everything that's been discussed already on the agenda, we couldn't do what we do at the Gregory School without our family association. You're truly an extension of the staff. We always say that. The classic example is when I, the very last minute, emailed Kelly and Jody the end of last week and said, is there any chance that we could put together a little thank you for our teachers when they return on Tuesday morning to thank them for a terrific interim week? Because many of our staff are literally gone from their homes for 3 nights, spending the night elsewhere, or camping under the stars on Mount Lemmon or what have you. And so they put together a little beautiful spread of goodies for our teachers and a lovely thank you note. And that is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the wonderful work you all do. So I know you're all volunteers. I know you're very busy parents and family members, and we are all just really grateful for that support. I'm only going to talk about one thing tonight. I'm not going to do a full-fledged head of school report given the hour, especially because I want to have plenty of time for Allison to update all of you on the good work that's happening with our Friday Exploration program. But on behalf of the Board of Trustees, in fact, one trustee who tries to make it here, who is actually now a 5th grade parent of ours, is Casey Luby, and he could not be here tonight because of business. But Casey is charged on our Board of Trustees of continuing to help lead the bandwagon in terms of what we call school advancement or development, raising funds for the school. And so I just want to just very softly remind everyone that our annual fund comprises a really important piece of our overall operating budget. Our tuition pays for about every year pays between 70 to 75% of our operating costs to run the school. What we do to make up the difference is we write grants. We're working with different organizations that give us charitable contributions, and we raise money together through an annual fund. And the reason the annual fund is critically important is not just because of the operating budget, but it's because how other funding agents and agencies view us and the support of our parents. So just a couple, I know Jody put in the agenda, Annual Fund 101. It's participation that matters, not the amount. We don't want families giving us anything more than what you feel that you can afford in your own family's operating budget, whether it's $5, $50, or $5,000. We run the gamut from all of our families, but that percentage of participation is huge. Yet that's partially why we received the E.E. Ford Foundation grant, because they could see that in the last year, over 45% of our families had contributed to the annual fund. We'd love to see that doubled. We'd love to think that we could get 80 to 85% of our families contributing. And if everybody just gave $5, we'd have 100%, right? Participation. And that's incredibly impressive to any funding organization. So our goal this year is $200,000. We've already collected just under $30,000. Many of our new families at registration just whipped out a checkbook or their credit card, and they said, well, I'm so happy to be here. Let me just give what I can give right now and just be done and over with. And then last but not least, Casey wanted on his behalf me to extend an invitation to all of our executive committee members and grade level reps. The board has a monthly, not that you really all want another meeting to have to go to, but we do want you to know that if you would like to attend any of our board's school advancement committee meetings where we talk about, how are we going to use homecoming week, right? To rally some support. What are we going to do on February 14th for our Show the Love Day? How can we thank people that have already given, and we have a lot of volunteers that would be happy to pick up the phone and call somebody and thank them as opposed to ever ask, right, for anything, which I completely understand. So we will make sure that Jody and the executive team know what those meeting times are. They've already been set for the entire school year. So you could just take a look and see if there's one that you'd like to attend. And then last but not least, in terms of our grade level reps, we are going to unroll again a little friendly competition across all of our grade levels with the annual fund, so that the grade level with the highest percentage of participation, again, not the amount, the level of participation that those families, say in 7th grade or 11th grade, participated, we have a very special surprise activity event for the students in the spring for that winter. So we're hoping to kick that off this month with a determination by the end of February, so that we wrap that up sooner rather than later. And that way the class can enjoy this special event in March or April. So that's all I have about annual fun. Happy to entertain any questions before we let Allison tell us more about Friday Explorations.
Any questions about the annual fund? No, I do see
Yes, the board will be getting out an update about the head of school selection process. I can tell you that I know they've continued to interview, and so they've started with a larger pool. I believe they're down to now 5 finalists, and there will be another round of interviews this coming week. And the goal, their hope, is to narrow it to 2, possibly 3, but I think they'd like to keep it to 2 finalists that would then come on campus in November. And then those dates and times, I talked about it today with the co-chairs of the search committee to talk about the schedule that we would have for each of the candidates on campus and how we could make sure that there was an opportunity for our parents to engage with each of the candidates, as well as other constituency groups that are part of our school community. So we will keep you posted. We should have more of an update after the second round of interviews are done. And Cece, I know you were selected to be on the search committee when you were currently serving as our FA president, and you were in a long meeting this afternoon. So is there anything pertinent that I left out?
No, I think you captured it pretty well. We do have 5 moving forward into a second interview at this point. And then we're looking at the first week of November to bring folks on, the very finalists, onto campus to meet everybody. We have carved out a little bit of time for parents to meet each one of the candidates who does come on campus. You'll be able to provide some feedback, not a whole lot of questions, but you'll be able to provide some feedback to the search committee on what you thought of those candidates after you meet them. And then the FA executive board is also going to have an opportunity to meet with them as parent representatives in a more formal setting. So there are plenty of opportunities for parents to meet them, as well as students, faculty, staff, administrators. And we're trying to get as many constituencies involved in the search process at that final stage. So look for more information coming very soon.
Thank you. And can you tell us, Cece, just how parents should look out for that information? It'll be via email, or should we bring it to an FA meeting? How can they look for it?
We actually haven't determined that yet. I imagine there'll be a special email that will be provided to the community because it's such a big thing.
Okay.
We hate to lose Dr. Cheryl, but we know that people are concerned about it. And I think that the communication will be pretty clear about what those opportunities will be.
Okay, we'll make sure to follow up with you too, so we can report at these meetings also. Thank you so much for that update. Okay. Last but not least, Allison, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. I do have a presentation. Is it okay if I share my screen?
Yes.
Brings me back to the days of teaching. I need to be, can you let me do it though?
Yes, I'm going to give you access now. You should have access now.
Yeah, I do. Now I just have to find my presentation.
Yeah, you find it. I'll just tell everybody that the FA Executive Committee met with the staff before school started, and we were given I'm sure a version of this presentation, and we really wanted the rest of the parents to see it. So I'm so glad you're here.
Well, thank you. And As Dr. Cheryl mentioned, we have an EE Ford grant that our focus is explorations, and it's very exciting because some of the changes happening with explorations are actually starting next week. So we're in the heat of planning it all. We've had a wonderful group of teachers. We have an EE Ford design team that worked for the last couple of years. We brought in students for focus groups so that we could hear how the students felt about what was going on with explorations and the improvements they were looking for. And then I've had 2 teachers work with me a lot of hours over the summer and continue, Miss Beth Kane and Miss Katie Peterson Snyder. And I want to give them credit for this presentation because they actually put it together. And they have been instrumental in helping us move ahead with some of our baby step changes that are happening next week. And if I can get my presentation to work, it'll be great. Let's see. There we go. So we started by really going back and redefining what explorations were. We know they're a time of learning, exploration, discovery. We want those topics to be chosen with meaningful purpose. And we want the students to really self-select their topics, and they're to enrich their own learning. We wanted to keep what's working. So a lot of what was working and what we heard was working was the variety of classes that are being offered, the fact that students can make choices on what their passions are, and the teachers get very creative with the explorations. I have a couple examples for you of some of our new offerings that I'll share. And then the students really enjoy the mixed age groupings, as do the teachers. It also gives some of our middle school students a chance to learn the upper school teachers, get to meet them, know that they're not scary, that they're going to be their teachers someday. It's a really great mix. We wanted to start deepening the purpose, looking at the value of explorations, accountability, going really more in depth, and then our process of selection, which has always been a little bit challenging through the years. So our first goal is to add purpose and value. And we have already, along with our 6 C's, we have the 4 pillars. And those pillars include leadership, scholarship, character, innovation. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but what we started to think about is how could we organize our explorations focusing on each of these pillars so students could actually start to keep track of where they fall. What explorations are they picking? Are they doing a lot of innovation explorations? Does that include explorations that might be in the Fab Lab, in the art rooms? Are they doing more service explorations to build on character? Maybe they're working on explorations in leadership. So we've actually incorporated in our computer system a way for students to keep track of that. So now when they sign up, they can see the explorations that they're kind of stacking up. We also want to do more accountability for explorations. We've talked to students a lot about their commitment and their real intention on what they're choosing for explorations. So to do this, we thought about, well, what does our faculty need to do? What does our students need to do, advisors? And so we wanted our faculty, we challenged them. We said, we want you to offer explorations of value and interest to the students. Let's listen to them. What do they want? Designate those 4 pillars so that one of those 4 pillars so that students can keep track. And then we're going to start to develop multi-week explorations so that faculty can dig deeper into a topic. They'll get to know their students more as almost like a small seminar separate from the regular classroom. And then there'll be a student-driven self-reflection of participation and explorations for students to do at the end of classes. Our advisors play a key part in this exploration process. They're the ones that are there when students are signing up. They have those really key discussions with students to find out what their passions and interests are. They help promote the attendance on explorations. They keep track of maybe some students who need a bit more assistance during academic enrichment. And they communicate that to our deans, and that way students they're not worried on Friday that they're missing out on some study time because they've worked on that during academic enrichment during the week, and instead they can really focus on the explorations they want. And then there's our students. we've talked again about commitment and intention and really looking at those explorations that interest them. Some of you might know in the way students sign up for explorations is they get on PowerSchool and they click classes really quickly, and it becomes almost like a race. In the middle school, you could hear the cheers when the explorations open to start clicking what they want. And what we're trying to do is make it not such a competition of what exploration you get into, but rather, what are you interested in? Let's take a breath. Let's figure out where your interests lie. We want students to be engaged. We want them to be present during explorations. And again, they'll complete some exit tickets about participation and looking at those explorations and how they connect to our 6 C's, not only the pillars. And there's our parents. And we want our parents to understand that explorations really offer a valuable learning opportunity, and they're part of our Gregory School curriculum. They are important, and that parents will support the teachers with enthusiasm and appreciation for explorations, which I know you already do. I feel like I'm, speaking to the choir here. So our goal to start doing multi-session explorations, this is where we're at right now, and it's very exciting. So what we've done is for just our E2, we have 4 explorations, E1 to E through E4 on Fridays. And so just for E2, what the teachers did is they offered multi-session classes. So for these dates, October 6th through November 3rd, the students were able to pick their top 3 choices of classes. And then what Katie, Beth, and I have been working on is actually sorting those students into their classes. So the students might not get choice number 1, they might get choice number 3, but the intention at the beginning was to think about the wide variety and their interests. And we'll do it again for a shorter 2-week session in December. And our hope is that it's successful and that we will start rolling this into maybe more of E2s and E3s. But in the spring, we have a lot more exploration sessions. So we're debating about maybe doing a 6-week session, a 5-week session, and really gearing up for those multi-weeks. The faculty were fabulous. Oh, sorry, I'm skipping ahead of myself, but I think I've gone over a lot of this. The students, we asked them to really consider their E2s, and the faculty put together slides, which I'll show you in a bit, just a few of them. But slides to advertise what their different classes were so that students had a little bit of advance notice. They could study the slides. They talked to them with their advisors. And grades 5 through 9 recorded their top 3 choices on a Google form. And those are the forms we're sorting out. We've learned a lot through this process. We allowed grades 10 through 12 to go in and just pick their choices. That's been a little challenging. So actually next time it might be all grade levels that are doing their top 3 choices. It will help us sort a little bit. And it's been, again, an interesting process. We've learned a lot, but the teachers' choices were amazing. Just some examples. In the Fab Lab, there's a game design choice that Mr. Russo, Anthony Russo, is offering for grades 5 through 12. And I actually keep begging him to see if he'll take 1 or 2 more students because we had a lot of interest in this choice. And he's excited, and he has a wide range of grade levels in that class. And he's very excited for them all to work together. Another offering right now was on national parks. This was offered by both of our 5th grade teachers. They offered it to our younger students, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, and it filled up very quickly also. We have 2 of our Spanish teachers are going to help beautify the area in the science courtyard by doing mosaic stepping stones. That was one of our creativity pillars. And then Ms. Mayari in our upper school is going to do an early childhood education, which will involve even some service volunteering at 2nd Street Children's School. They're going to work on CPR and first aid. So it was an exciting opportunity for some upper school students. Those are just some of the examples. That was a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions about what's happening with explorations right now? Currently, the explorations are actually closed. The students can't see what's going on because I was spending my afternoon plugging them into their E2s. And every once in a while, a student would come to my door and say, "Can you tell me what class I'm in yet?" I said, "No, not yet." So by the end of the day tomorrow, we should have all the classes and I'll send them an email and say, okay, now you can check. So they're pretty excited.
Yeah, we'll be excited to hear what your evaluation is after the whole set, you know, from the teachers and the students. I love the advertisements. That was great.
It's been a good process.
Yeah, has any parent just quickly had any comments from their students about explorations this year you want to share? Might be relevant to Allison as they're going forward.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I'll pipe in. Just I was with Mrs. Conroy when she showed the slideshow to her class or to her advisees, and my goodness, I was just so impressed. And then since then, I've heard so many of the kids talking about it and so excited about it. So again, just from the inside and getting to see Mrs. Conroy, the art teacher for junior high, seeing her presentation for the kids and how they responded was just incredible. They obviously were so excited. And I know Ruby's talked about it a ton, but just seeing it was really neat. I know I was duly impressed.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I was thinking too, I remember my son, when he was seeing some of the changes, we were talking about the pillars. So that was a good conversation between him and I about what the pillars were and what's the relation, you know, to what he's doing and what he likes. And so, yeah, I appreciated your explanation of that.
Thank you.
And yeah, there's some comments in the chat of Margaret loves the changes of the multi-week. KL, I don't know who KL is, but thank you. Fifth grade, excited about the variety of options. I love it. Oh, thank you, Carla Luby. Hi, Carla. And then Tina, her daughter's very excited about the opportunity. Oh, and you're going to miss 1 week, so she's angry. Thank you so much, Allison. I appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody for sticking it out. I know this was a long meeting, and I hope you really got a good sense for the Family Association, along with the Gregory School. We look forward to everything that's coming up. We hope you'll join us for all the meetings. The next one is October 26th. It will only be an hour. And please do look at the homecoming signups and sign up to volunteer. We want to see everybody there for the games and all the activities. And I hope you all have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody.
Thanks, Jody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, all.
Thank you.